A recent study led by Chinese scholars has uncovered a shocking discovery. The lithium ion concentration in the blood of pregnant women and infants in Beijing is 20 times higher than the average in other industrial cities in China, and over 40 times higher than another city, Changsha. The levels exceed the safety threshold by 170%. The news was first reported on March 5th by the Hong Kong-based South China Morning Post. The report cited a study published by the American Chemical Society on February 24th in the Ecotoxicology and Environmental Study, an academic journal published by Elsevier BV. The lead researcher was Professor Hu Ligong, an environmental chemist at the Chinese Academy of Sciences. From 2019 to 2023, Professor Hu's teams selected 96 healthy pregnant women in Beijing and 297 in Changsha as participants. They collected venous blood samples from the women before delivery and cord blood samples from the infants after birth to compare lithium concentrations in maternal and cord blood. The study revealed a significant disparity in lithium levels between the two cities. In 2023, the average lithium concentration in the blood of pregnant women in Changsha was only 0.61 micrograms per liter. In contrast, in Beijing, it was 27.31 micrograms per liter, about 45 times higher. Even more shocking is that the lithium concentration in Beijing's pregnant women increased more than double compared to previous years. In 2019, the average lithium concentration in Beijing's pregnant women's blood was 13.05 micrograms per liter, and in 2021 it was 11.23 micrograms per liter. What is the safe threshold for lithium concentration in pregnant women? The answer is just 10 micrograms per liter. That means the lithium levels in Beijing's pregnant women exceed the safety limit by 170%. Further research indicates that lithium concentrations exceeding 13 micrograms per liter may cause neurological damage, thyroid dysfunction, and even affect fetal development. This is undoubtedly a serious public safety issue. The study also revealed an alarming mystery. The model estimates suggest that the lithium in Changsha infants' cord blood primarily comes from grains, vegetables, and drinking water. However, 96% of the lithium ingested by mothers in Beijing cannot be traced back to food, water, or air, and other known sources. Professor Hu indicates that this suggests a stable, undetectable source of lithium exposure in Beijing, meaning the lithium pollution in the city has gone beyond controllable levels. If the data is accurate, such a severe pollution incident should have prompted a responsible government to take immediate action, conduct investigations, and find the source and pathways of the pollution. Public information should be released to reassure citizens. However, the Chinese Communist Party chose its usual approach, concealing the truth. After the study was published, related news was swiftly blocked within China. On March 26, a search for related content on China's largest search engine, Baidu, yielded only a post on Baidu's forum, with all other content removed. Even the Chinese Academy of Sciences website, which had previously published brief news on the matter, had taken down the report. The only media outlet in mainland China to cover this news, Caixin, quickly encountered a 404 error. As a result, this serious pollution incident has not sparked public outrage and has not made it onto trending topics, leaving Beijing residents unaware of this health threat. However, the news of the high lithium concentration in Beijing's pregnant women's cord blood has spread widely on overseas social platforms like X, raising concerns among many overseas Chinese. One user on X said, "Only 2 cities were monitored, so we can only guess what other places are like." Regarding the cause of the high lithium concentrations in Beijing's pregnant women, one user analyzed, it must be because old batteries weren't separately recycled. They were buried underground with regular garbage, causing land pollution. Another user responded, Beijing has been in the news for garbage piling up around the city for years. I guess a large number of discarded lithium batteries were buried underground, which then seeped into the groundwater. Now the situation with garbage piling up is rampant, especially in first-tier cities. The trash is mostly buried in suburban areas outside the city. Eventually, all this waste affects people's health. What's even more concerning in the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region is that garbage is buried underground, a thin layer of soil is spread on top, and trees are planted, turning the area into green hills and clear waters. There's also the infamous groundwater recharge plan. Essentially, it's about transferring the unsightly surface pollutants into previously clean underground water reservoirs. Looking at the resurgence of air pollution in northern China in recent years, it's clear that the actions of the CCP are not only harmful to the environment, but also destructive to future generations. emissions and human dignity. A user named David suggested, in the past decade, electric vehicle batteries and mobile phone batteries, all lithium-based, have developed rapidly in China. Could this be related to the lack of safety measures in the lithium battery recycling system? Why are only pregnant women and infants in Beijing affected by this? If the data is accurate, local authorities and research departments should immediately activate emergency measures and give the public an explanation. Otherwise, it could lead to widespread panic. On March 18th, physician and author Cai Yi-chen mocked the situation on Facebook, saying, "Is this some sort of human mining concept? Everyone is a lithium battery, a new form of productivity, part of the new global community. A country like this, do you want me to join them in the Greater China? I think I'll pass." Where exactly is the source of lithium exposure in Beijing coming from? To answer that, let's first look at the typical sources of lithium in the human body. Researchers point out that lithium in the human body primarily comes from food. It's mostly found in plant-based foods like grains, vegetables, as well as drinking water. It's also present in certain fish and seafood. Additionally, since the 1970s, lithium has been used as a medical drug, often combined with other elements to regulate emotions and treat mental health disorders like depression. According to study results, the lithium content in rice, vegetables, and water in Beijing is significantly higher than in Changsha, but it's still insufficient to explain such a striking difference in exposure from diet alone. Moreover, the women surveyed had no health issues, meaning the lithium in their bodies should not have been derived from medication. Beyond food and medication, lithium can also be found in the air. A related study published by the American Chemical Society revealed that industrial pollution is a significant source of atmospheric lithium. For instance, the combustion of coal releases lithium, which can enter the atmosphere through the resulting coal ash particles. China's coal is particularly high in lithium, with concentrations 3 times higher than the global average. However, Beijing moved its heavy industrial enterprises out of the capital more than a decade ago. Between 2021 and 2023, there should have been no significant change in coal burning in the city. Another potential source of lithium is the mining and production of lithium batteries. While there are no lithium mines near Beijing, the city is home to research and production facilities for lithium batteries. As a major city, Beijing has high usage of electronic products, and the popularity of electric vehicles and e-bikes means lithium batteries are widespread. This makes it inevitable that lithium levels in the environment would rise. Therefore, the high lithium concentrations in pregnant women in Beijing are most likely linked to lithium batteries. The South China Morning Post also mentioned lithium factories in Beijing, noting that the city's lithium-ion battery industry has rapidly developed and now leads the country in both research and production facilities. In October of last year, a new solid-state lithium battery factory started operating in the Beijing Innovation Center, located in the Beijing Economic Technological Development Area, as part of China's efforts to dominate the global green energy market. According to the website of Shenzhen Grupao Battery Company, Beijing is home to at least 5 companies involved in the research and production of lithium batteries. Notably, from June 2024, CATL, China's largest battery manufacturer, set up operations in Beijing. However, this still doesn't explain why lithium concentrations in Beijing's pregnant women spiked so dramatically in 2023. This surge coincides precisely with the rapid growth of China's lithium battery industry. Yet, researchers seem hesitant to discuss whether this factor might be contributing to the elevated lithium levels in the blood. Another major possibility, as suggested by online users, is contamination from the recycling of lithium batteries. China's lithium battery recycling faces severe challenges, including the improper disposal of mobile phone batteries, e-bike batteries, and now electric vehicle batteries. There's little regulation. Mobile phone batteries are often disposed with regular waste, while recycling rates for e-bike and electric vehicle batteries remain low. The European Union's batteries regulation mandates a 70% recycling rate by 2030, but China's current rate is under 20%. Additionally, the cost of recycling lithium iron phosphate batteries is 8,000 yuan per ton, but the value of the recycled materials is only 5,500 yuan per ton, leading to a lack of incentive for companies. Consequently, many small, unqualified workshops handle the recycling. These workshops typically make minimal investments in environmental protection or equipment, and often resort to crude methods, such as cutting and crushing batteries and then using acid leaching to extract valuable metals like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. These operations, driven by profit motives, not only waste resources, but also generate environmental pollution and safety hazards. Even qualified large-scale recycling companies struggle to avoid pollution completely. In the case of wet processing methods to recycle lithium, the overall recovery rate is generally 90%, but the remaining lithium follows wastewater into the soil and water, causing lithium pollution. Of course, these are just hypotheses. Professor Hu Ligong's study mentions that 96% of the lithium exposure in Beijing is from an unknown source. It's difficult to draw any definitive conclusions about this. In reality, Professor Hu's research only focused on pregnant women in Beijing and Changsha. What about other cities in China, particularly those with lithium mining and battery production industries? How high are the lithium concentrations in pregnant women's blood in those areas? No one has likely studied this. Even if someone did, they may be too afraid to publish the data. With the increasing trend of electric vehicles, lithium, a key element in power batteries, has been hailed as the white oil, or the energy metal, of the 21st century. Power and storage batteries account for 87% of total lithium consumption. Lithium also has widespread applications in the military, technology, and daily life. As the global electric vehicle market continues to grow and the demand for clean energy storage rises, the International Energy Agency predicts a 50% global shortage in lithium demand. By 2040, lithium demand is expected to grow 13 times compared to current levels. If the targets of the Paris Agreement, binding international treaty on climate change, are met, global demand for lithium could increase by 40 times by 2040. The growing imbalance between supply and demand for lithium is turning it into a major strategic resource being fiercely competed for by countries worldwide. The imbalance between supply and demand has sparked a lithium mining boom. However, the process of mining the seemingly beneficial resource for reducing carbon emissions actually causes environmental damage. There are two opposing viewpoints on this issue. One argues that in the rush to promote white oil, carbon reduction is used as a cover for environmental destruction, while the other side supports lithium mining as a necessary sacrifice to combat climate change. But is it really a small price to pay? In China, for example, according to data from the U.S. Geological Survey in February 2024, China's lithium resources account for about 6% of global reserves, ranking 4th in the world. Its lithium production of 33,000 tons ranks 3rd globally, making up 18.34% of the world's lithium production. As the electric vehicle and energy storage industries rapidly expand, China has become the world's largest lithium battery producer, supplying 70% of the global lithium battery market. 6 of the top 10 lithium battery companies globally are based in China. Additionally, China is the largest consumer of lithium batteries. Between 2019 and 2023, the number of new energy vehicles in China surged from a few million to 20.41 million, creating a massive increase in demand for lithium batteries. Recently, former Chinese media personality Zhao Lanjian wrote an article pointing out that while China's lithium battery industry leads the world, the ecological cost is staggering. The pollution from China's lithium industry is gradually evolving into an environmental catastrophe that is deliberately being covered up. From western mines to eastern industrial zones, from the snowmelt of the Tibetan Plateau to the bloodstreams of pregnant women in Beijing, lithium pollution is quietly permeating all corners of Chinese society and even threatening global ecology. Over the past decade, Zhao has investigated pollution in river basins across China's western provinces, including Qinghai, Tibet, Sichuan, and Jiangxi. He discovered that lithium mining has caused widespread river discoloration, and wildlife has died after drinking polluted water. Grassland ecosystems in Qinghai and Tibet have been destroyed, industrial wastewater in Sichuan and Jiangxi has contaminated groundwater, and lithium battery companies in Hunan and Guangdong have illegally dumped chemical waste, endangering public health. In 2018, Zhao witnessed escalating desertification and drying wetlands in Qinghai and illegal mining in Tibet, with severe ecological damage. However, local governments often cover up the truth and prevent information from leaking out. Yichun, known as the lithium capital of Asia, is at the heart of China's lithium mining industry. Its lithium production accounts for a quarter of the country's total. In this city, 202 companies, including CATL and Guoxuan, have invested in smelting plants and mines. However, because the ore quality is low, production costs are much higher than those in other mining areas in China. Many companies, especially small lithium mining operations, have chaotic management and prioritize profits, neglecting their environmental responsibilities. In November 2022, an incident in the Xinjiang district revealed the environmental crisis posed by Yichun's lithium mining industry. Ecological monitoring in Yichun discovered abnormal levels of thallium, a highly toxic substance, in the water supply. Thallium, often found in lithium ores, led to the suspension of water supply from the Jingjiang River, which supplies water to multiple counties in Yichun. 6 companies were shut down or investigated after this incident. Yet, residents claim the government is covering up the issue, with a lack of transparency in the handling of businesses, and the public has no right to be informed. This incident has sparked international attention, with European and American countries beginning to scrutinize China's lithium supply chain and environmental groups calling for an independent investigation. The Yichun environmental crisis is just the tip of the iceberg in China's pollution issues. The Chinese government's so-called green development is nothing more than a cover for prioritizing economic growth. Zhao Lanjian highlights that while China's electric vehicle industry claims to be part of the green energy movement, the pollution from lithium battery production and recycling is severe. The recycling rate for old batteries is less than 10%, and many batteries are illegally landfilled or incinerated. The production process uses chemicals such as sulfuric acid and fluoride, and wastewater is directly discharged, polluting the soil and water. As the world's largest producer of lithium batteries, China has failed to manage pollution effectively, instead covering up the facts and suppressing public opinion. From the high lithium levels in newborns' cord blood in Beijing to the river discoloration in Qinghai and the detection of lithium contamination in children's cord blood in Hunan, these signals indicate that lithium pollution has deeply penetrated every corner of Chinese society. As companies like BYD and Xiaomi expand globally, and with China's lithium battery exports increasing, the dangers of lithium pollution may soon impact consumers worldwide. While electric vehicles may reduce carbon emissions, the pollution from China's lithium industry is silently poisoning society. If the international community doesn't take action, this green energy revolution could turn into a global ecological disaster.